And top of the morning, Hackney fans. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here in Shelbyville. A little chilly, but a lot warmer than Canada, that's for sure. We're off to do the barn tour this morning. The clinic that they had planned, unfortunately, has been canceled because the barn at the fairgrounds is not operable. So they opened up the barn tour starting at 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to head down the highway right off the bat. It's going to be a real coup for me seeing Golden Creek Farm. I grew up watching those great ponies with Mary Gaylord and John Shea. So to get to see Golden Creek Farm is going to be a real treat for sure. From there we'll head to Fricky Farms and then off to Majestic Oaks. So enjoy the tour and we'll see you guys later. Take care. Getting ready to head down Shelbyville Road to see Golden Creek Farm. So we're just on the Shelbyville Road right now, headed towards Simpsonville. We'll be at Golden Creek Farm here in a few minutes. Again, this is a completely different scene from what we had last year when I was down here. The grass was green and it felt like about 15 degrees, which I guess for you Americans would be about 60, I guess. So anyway, different, but still a great time to be in Shelbyville for sure. So really looking forward to visiting one of the farms that I grew up watching as a kid, the beautiful Golden Creek Farm here. Of course, on Shelbyville Road here, this is probably the mecca of saddlebred farms and Hackney farms as well. All the greats are along here. Red Crabtree's farm is down the way here. Premier Stables, Rob and Sarah Byers, Bill Field Stables on here somewhere. Lionel Ferreira from Monington is just down the way here. A little bit of I think it's called Colts Run, if I'm not mistaken, that runs off the main road here. But this is definitely saddlebred royalty along this road for sure. I wish I knew more about who was who along here because I could give you the once-over on all these places, but it's a great tour to do anytime for sure. Up here on the right-hand side is Riser's Stables. I'm not sure if that's Chris or if that's his brother Chad, but that's Riser Stables back there. And as we come up across this way, you can see Golden Creek off to the left-hand side. Up high there is the main show barn, right up there. And of course the house. So this is all Golden Creek that we're coming up on now on our left-hand side. So we're going to roll in here in just a minute. So we're just pulling into the main gate here. Tom said last night if the main gate's open, drive on through and go back to the barn. So that's what we're going to do here. Again, this is really surreal for me because as a kid growing up, my first recollections of watching Hackneys would be from videotapes we got back in the 80s of watching the great duels between ponies like Cherry's Dream Boy and Flamethrower. Also remember, of course, General Jackson, Perfect Impression, La Louisiane. So this is a lot of history here for sure. And I'm 43 years old, but I'm kind of resorting back to when I was a kid being on this farm. So didn't expect to come to 14 inches of snow, but anytime. Look at that, Canadian geese at Golden Creek Farm. Canada geese. Little taste of home. Not only the snow, but the geese. Look at the beautiful pond. Maybe that's Golden Creek right there. Look at that. Hundreds of geese out on the pond right now at Golden Creek Farm. Incredible. Beautiful farm. I'm not sure what all is what here, but we're going to take a drive around here. Hopefully I don't get stuck. That'll be good on video. There's a fountain down there running. Beautiful pastures. Reminds me a lot of my own place, actually, back home when you think of it. Few more acres. We've got 3.5. There's about 300.5 here, so this is going to be an incredible tour. Not sure exactly how far along in the training schedule these barns are in early March. Looking forward to show season, but it's going to be a treat either way. I don't even care if they work a pony. I'm just going to be really honored to be in this barn. So we'll turn off now and we'll go in and talk to Tom. So we've just arrived in time at Golden Creek Farm to see Tom hooking Handsome Harry. Handsome Harry, of course, won the Sweepstakes as a 3-year-old pony. He also won it as a baby. World champion 3-year-old harness pony, world champion 4-year-old harness pony. Reserve World Grand Champion harness pony. Those of you folks that tune into the video series that do it as a learning experience, you're going to get a real treat today. For those of you that like to use this as a training tool, here's a great way to see one in tack, in a dumb jock. Got Norman and Colleen Bray here this morning. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
They, of course, are offering Heartland Code of Ethics in the sale tonight. We'll talk to them a little bit about that later. So this is a lot more common. You'll see a lot of these trainers now actually jogging in dumb jocks. So take note of how these the bitting set up and the dumb jock is on the pony. Great way to set their heads. Handsome Harry, of course, the son of Twin Willow's Handsome Dan, offered again in the sale tonight. Handsome Dan's service sold for $5,000 last year to Melinda Moore. So this would be a grandson of Twin Willow's McMillan, and it just seems like McMillan is kind of the Undulatta's nutcracker of Hackneys right now. Everything he touches turns to gold, so...
Do they still serve hash browns at the Waffle House?
Just for me.
Just for you.
They know me by name.
Hey there.
You can have the auction now.
Yeah. You got the bidder. Yeah.
So Tom, as you know, a lot of people tune into the video series kind of as a learning tool. There's a lot of new people in the game. So would you say it's more common guys like you are using dumb jocks to jog these ponies to set their heads? That's something new in the last number of years, or?
It's been around since Tom Moore came up with the first dumb jock. He made a saddle. He had a pony saddle and then had a pole out of it, the way I understand it. And he would bid them in it and stuff. And then my grandfather, they say, came up with a similar design to this that was a double piece of steel up through here for stability.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second one, they say. And then Rich Campbell came up with this one. So, that's the lineage of the dumb jock. But yeah, they've been around for, well, that was in the 60s. They've been around, but.
And what's the one piece of advice you'd give a young trainer or a new person when using a dumb jock? What does everybody say about using them?
I wouldn't bid them in it.
No. And start slow.
Yeah, start slow. People want to bid them in it all the time, and they're going to end up in more problems than what they had to start with.
Great, thank you. So for you young trainers and new people out there, pause the video, have a good look at it. I think I got some good shots of it again. This is Handsome Harry,
Yep.
World Champion 3 and 4-year-old, Sweepstakes champion. And what are the plans for Harry this year, Tom? Is he a harness pony again this year? Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, he'll be a harness pony and do some breeding.
Beautiful. Now, one of the questions I was going to ask you a bit later, I know you got to keep working, but you've had now, of course, Handsome Harry. You've had Twin Willow's Wild Thing. You've got Twin Willow's Handsome Dan. You've purchased GoDaddy. Is there one trait that you would say that the McMillans have, like all the foals, or one trait that they similarly have?
Well, it goes back to Carnation King, Dream Boy, all that. But they, mainly Carnation King, they roll out of their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
They're not leg trotters. You know, you see some that just The shoulder doesn't move, and when you get that Carnation King, they roll up out of their shoulder. And I mean, they're coarser animals, but they pull carts. They're not made to show in hand.
Good personalities?
Oh, yeah.
Tough?
Make you think.
Game, yeah?
Make you think.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. So that was Handsome Harry.
To see you here. Citation power washers down there next to executive. Yeah.
So again, this is not unlike my own place.
That's the dealer around Kentucky. I don't know if there's a dealer over Lexington. What they've got here, place might have. It's a slower heat than what a torpedo is. It's a radiant heat. Once they heat this place up in 45 minutes, the rest of the day, there's either diesel,
And we're talking now with Norman and Colleen Bray from Burlington, Kentucky, and they are offering to the auction tonight Heartland Code of Ethics. He's a Code of Honor son, and that'll be a stud that a lot of people will be very interested in, because I know there's a lot of people in Europe actually that ask me all the time if I have video of Code of Honor and some of his offspring, which I unfortunately don't, because he's a fairly young stud. So tell us a bit about your stud, Code of Ethics. What kind of traits does he stamp into his foals?
Generally motion. He throws a lot of front, and his hocks are very good on most of his colts. And just the way they move, I mean, of all the other studs I had before, you know, I had some that trot, but when his colts seem to trot, they kind of like just bow in the back a little bit, lift themselves up. I like him.
Yeah. Now, did you show him? Was he a show pony?
No, he was started a little bit as a 3-year-old. We did get to work him some, and then once we started breeding him, and I thought that would be his best suit, you know, as a stud.
And how old would his oldest offspring be now?
I've got a couple 4-year-olds out of him. We haven't did a whole lot with them yet, but they seem to be real gamey. The 4-year-olds are, and tons of motion and a lot of presence.
Personality-wise, they good to work with?
Yes, seem very good. For most part, they're really nice to be around.
So now, it's kind of speculating, it's kind of a crystal ball question, but sometimes you'll see a stallion where they will produce one certain particular, like Dunhaven Awesome Creation was really known for his road ponies, for example. Do you see Code of Ethics producing one particular division, or do you think he's going to be able to kind of spread his talents around?
I think it depends what kind of mares you breed to him. You know, the mares that I've bred to him, they seem to be more harness type, you know, a lot of hocks, you know, and kind of pull themselves up, and that's just what I see in those right now. They're not as stretchy as I thought they would be. But yeah, I think they're going to be more of a harness pony.
Great, perfect. So for you folks that are out there, be sure to stop into Norman and Colleen Bray's place in Burlington, Kentucky. They got some nice young ones on the way, and best of luck tonight at the auction.
All right,
we'll
thank
see
you.
what he sells for.
All right,
best
thank
of luck.
you.
And we're still at Golden Creek Farm. We'll see what Tom Lowry brings out next for us. And Tom is now hooking up Heartland Dress to Impress. I believe you got ownership of him last year, Tom, from Misty Wrigley. Is that correct?
Yep.
Misty Wrigley owned Heartland Dress to Impress and also Heartland Demonstrator that Golden Creek has taken over. Did very well with last year, so it was a nice road pony. I first saw this pony in Canada. Actually, Rich and Holly brought him up to our Toronto show years ago. He's a world champion, so we'll get to see road pony work now. So, Tom, we're early March, and your show season, you're not starting for a while. So, how far along are we in the training right now? Is it just legging them up?
Yeah, some of these just get worked 3 days a week. Then most of them just went back to work this week. And they're just long lining for a week or week and a half, and then we'll start jogging them a little bit at a time. So, pick up a couple of those slowly, and I'll long line a couple of those quick. All right.
Is he ahead of the class, Tom?
This one is Code of Honor,
Code of Honor, okay.
I believe.
So we have a half-brother to Heartland Code of Ethics that we spoke about just moments ago.
David, did you get my message the other night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was pretty fancy, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're gonna bring it down to exactly where I'm gonna go there outside.
Usually do a lot more walking in a day than I did today. You guys probably don't want to see me walk around a lot, so I just keep driving.